Dawn, you sit here after completing a 33-2 season and undefeated in the SEC. I mean, fair or unfair, do you think the season was kind of defined by the Syracuse loss, and how do you approach that going into next year?
Yeah, it's obvious we had expectations of going further than the Sweet 16. But I think at points throughout our journey, we always have to take a step back. We don't want to, but you guys take a step back, to move yourself forward. And I just thought, looking at how it ended up, we took that step back. How we move forward will be on us as a coaching staff and on the players to just commit ourselves to, when we get to that point again, to not be denied.
Don, sitting there when you're at the WNBA draft and then you have one of your players drafted, how surreal of an experience for you, having been in that league and then just see your players keep growing in that way as well?
Well, I mean, it's a little different with Tiffany because, Tiffany just, she school, just, the academic piece was just a platform for her to get to the WNBA. And, don't take that, I don't take that lightly. But she's an excellent student. But she came here to get to the WNBA. It was her lifelong dream. But to be there with her, to experience that, was tremendous. Because I know how hard she worked for it. I know, exactly, that's exactly what she wanted. She'll graduate in the next few weeks. And you want to see your players happy, and you want to see them get everything they want out of college and everything that they want to achieve, especially when she's put in the work to do that.
Dawn, the fact that Tiffany becomes your first #1 draft pick since you've been here, what kind of statement does that make about the program you're building here, and also how valuable is that as a nugget when you go out recruiting?
Well, I think it's really important. I think it's because what we want to do, we're dream merchants as coaches, and we want to, make sure that we're putting our players in the position of achieving their dreams. Tiffany was one that, I knew she was a pro. The moment I looked at her, I just didn't know the work ethic that she put behind being a pro, and that's the part that, a lot of people really don't understand. You can say it, you can have the talent to do it, but to actually put the work behind it, it's twofold. So it's not just coming here. Yes, if you come to South Carolina, WNBA general managers and coaches are going to come here to see our players and see our talent. What you have to make sure as a student athlete is that you put the work behind it. It's not any different than you wanting to graduate from college. The work that you have to put in the classroom and behind the scenes before you actually take a test or before you actually have to turn that paper in. It's the same kind of work it takes to be on draft day, like Tiffany Mitchell. So it's a very proud moment. It's a moment in which I know in the next few years we'll share with several of our players that are on our roster. It is, will they be able to put the type of work ethic in that Tiff put in to have some longevity in the league?
Dawn, looking at the roster, two-part question. First, are you actively recruiting anybody for next year at this point?
No, not at the moment. But if something comes up and we feel like they can help our team, we will certainly look at it seriously.
And as it stands now, I think there's only like 4 forwards, kind of big girls in the post, and going to be kind of limited behind Coates and Wilson. How do you plan to address that? Would you look at a 5-guard lineup for chunks of the game?
Who are the 4? I got 3.
Farmer, Harrigan, Coates, Wilson.
India's listed as a guard forward.
Oh, okay. Oh no, she's not a forward in our, in our system. With as much talent that we have a lot of versatility. So, we have to come up with ways in which we feel like best suits the personnel that we have. Obviously, we got a, incredible front court, in Asia and Elena. We're bringing in a young gun in the Kiki Harrigan. You know, that's a lot different than both of them. So, you know, we're looking forward to, you know, just, you know, we have to have a 3 post rotation. I'm quite sure they don't mind that. You know, the more minutes that they could play, the best. But we're probably looking to slide maybe Kayla Davis. She could play 1 through 4. And she will be you know, a matchup nightmare for some post players and the players the teams that will play next season.
In the front, David?
Dawn, you've been so involved in international play the last several years. Is it a routine for you now to get the recruiting done as early as you can to open up your summer for the international stuff you have? And then when do you start turning your focus solely to Rio?
You know, since we've been here at South Carolina, we've never been able to get ahead in recruiting. We've always, you know, had to wait, you know, until April to finish up our recruiting for next season, that following season, and you know, having to wait, we've gotten some quality players. Asia Wilson is one of them. We had to wait for 2 years ago. We had to wait for Ty Harris this year. You know, but when you have special talented players like that and you put so much time into them, you know, you put yourself in a position and you have to wait it out. So hopefully in the near future we can finish up in the fall, you know, so we can concentrate on the next class, because you know some programs are fortunate enough to, you know, they can be done with their next crop of players. Rio, you know, I don't really have any responsibilities besides, I think we have a coaches meeting next month, and then we just have to wait the WNBA season out. But from now until then, I'll go to a couple of WNBA camps just to, you know, kind of prepare myself and our coaching staff with having, you know, we're going to have some WNBA players in the future, so we want to make sure that we're giving them everything they need to have some longevity in the WNBA and their pro careers.
I assume you'll be at training camp in July, so then nothing between really now and then.
I'm going to be visiting some WNBA training camps, and then at the end of July is when the Olympic team gets together.
With some of the pieces that you got to make up for, and this year going forward, if I could talk, how important is it to have Alicia and Kayla kind of in the fold already this year going into next year?
Well, I mean, it's extremely important, you know, to have that kind of talent base. Having spent a year under our belts and, you know, understanding how we operate, I think it's great. But there still will be some transition for them, you know. You know, they haven't prepped for a game where they're actually going to be able to play and participate in the game. So that will be some transition. You know, they've been around it, and although it may look like it's an easy transition, it is not. You know, the responsibility of players who we anticipate, you know, to play a whole lot of minutes to start, you know, it's a different mindset that they must prep for.
Looking at point guard next year, Dawn, you have Ty and Ariane coming in as freshmen. Is it Bianca's ball to start and they have to take it, or are all three kind of on equal ground as you prepare for it?
You know, everybody's on equal ground. Everybody's always on equal ground at the beginning of the season. What they do with it, I tell, you know, everybody that we recruit, you know, no matter what position, we give everyone the same information. How they process it and what they do with it will be on them. You know, I would think that Bianca is the one because she's been around our program for 2 years. But, you know, I'm not telling her she's the automatic starter. I'm not telling Ty she's the automatic starter, nor am I telling AB, we call her AB, Ariane. She's going to be the starter. Tiffany Davis should be healthy this year as well. So, you know, we got a lot of a pool of players to pull from. And we're not saying that they won't play together. So it's not just, you know, one person. You know, they are guards in which they can play basketball. They can slide over to, you know, play multiple positions. But, you know, I like to have some security in that position especially.
Anything else for Coach Deb? Davis?
And scheduling, Dawn, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 games you already know about. Have there been any more added that you can talk about at this point?
No, but they do give me headaches already.
A little off the wall here. My girlfriend was on Asia's flight out of Colombia to Los Angeles for the Wooden Awards, and she kept talking about how all the people were going up to her to say hello and to tell her congratulations. And, with Tiffany moving on, she's kind of going to become the face of this program from a player's perspective. And is it an everyday thing for her when people are coming up to her? Does she just attract people like that? And how do you think she handles that? And how do you think she's ready to be kind of like the face of South Carolina women's basketball?
Well, the good thing about Asia, she's from here. Everyone recognizes her from, playing at Heathwood Hall. Everybody recognizes her for the stellar career that she's had the first 2 years of her college career. So, some people were born to have the spotlight on them. Asia's one of them, and she's had plenty of practice to get ready for it. I'm quite sure it's burdensome to a 19-year-old, but that's a part of it. It's she's put herself in that position, and she'll handle it. She'll probably handle it, as maturely as anyone her age, and so her parents have done a tremendous job at teaching, at giving her a foundation of what is of good character, and she displays that every time that you see her.
We've been talking about Tiffany, but how special is it that Tina's going to at least get the opportunity to go into camp with the Atlanta Dream?
Yeah, I think Tina, it's a wonderful thing that she gets an opportunity to go in and be a part of training camp. Hopefully, she'll reflect on the preseasons that we've had, over the past 5 years. It's probably going to be nothing like what she's been used to, and you add the fact that she'll probably have some type of anxiousness just being a part of it. But when the dust settles, it's going to be just basketball, and she has to approach it that way.
Dawn, getting back to Asia, you mentioned she's been able to handle the spotlight through her recruitment and all that stuff. Has there ever been a time these first 2 years where you had to kind of sit her down and say, okay, you might need to calm down some, or has she always been able to handle the attention?
Well, she's always been able to handle it, and I think there's probably one time she might have had a breakdown where she just wanted to go to the mall and get some shopping in, and but that just comes with the territory. It is, if she could trade places with me, she can, because it's a part of it. The reason why we get so many fans to come to our game is because we have that personal touch with them. They feel like they actually know us. They'll come up, they'll talk, and you're probably meeting this person for the first time, but you make them feel like they've been over to your house for dinner, and that's the attractive thing about it. So it's something that we've gotten used to. She's not going to be the only one, because our fans are they recognize our players, and they feel like they know us. So it is our duty to make sure that we're giving them what they need.
When I was talking to Stephanie White, the thing that really stuck out to me was that she said that she didn't think Tiffany would have too much of a problem integrating herself because of the defensive background that she has here. How impressive is that to you to hear a head coach say that in the WNBA and to know that they think that?
Well, I think when you have that position as a coach in the WNBA, notice that. I think it holds true for what we try to teach our players, because we want our players to be able to play for anybody. Maybe the terminology may be a little bit different on both sides of the ball, but when coaches can recognize, not just what a player can give offensively, and look at them as an entire package. Tiffany prides herself on just competing on both sides of the ball, and I think Stephanie is right on. She's probably the most ready of them all when it comes to all the draftees that playing both sides of the ball. She's had to play, our opponent's best offensive player for the past 4 years. Even as a freshman, she took on that role for us. So, we feel real good. Our coaching staff feels real good about putting her in a position to go to a franchise like the Fever that will appreciate all that she has to offer.
Anything else? Thank you.
I didn't talk about the transfers. Oh.